Hey, what's up? So I'm a huge car dork, and the more and more I'm online and I on forums and groups and everything like that, TikTok and whatever, I see more and more like people have just completely forgot that a well-built engine or even an engine built right can make power all on its own. Not in every instance, because I know that in four-cylinder world they're only going to make so much horsepower, but I have a good friend who's got a big monster, big block, big high tunnel rim and stuff like that. It's really well built, dyno proven, over 900 horsepower, and people keep like messaging him acting like it's all fake and you can't do that. There's no way. And then I'm also on pages on Facebook for small block Chevys, and I see it all the time. No, there's no way to do 400 horsepower on a stock block. There's no way to do 500 horsepower on a stock block naturally aspirated. And it's just like, or good luck. You better have $1 million because it's going to cost everything in the world. Yeah, it's going to be expensive to build a good motor. That's why people that have really nice motors that last typically spend a lot of money on them. They need maintenance and they need, upkeep and things to be done right on them. I think the world has forgot that, that's how you do it. Have a good program, a successful program, or a fun, hot rod. I mean, you can do a lot of power on a budget too if you, price your parts out right and have a good engine builder. And even in the import world, you can see it all the time, especially in Florida 2K and all the other Texas 2K and stuff like that. Not that people don't blow up engines, but you got to remember those guys are pushing them to the max in most cases. They might play around a little bit in qualifying, but besides that, they are 40 pounds of boost easy, if not more. Running Proline Hemis and full billet K series and B series, and the rotaries aren't any exempt from any of that either. You watch them and they're just popping motors left and right. And it's like, then you go online, you see all these people like, oh, that can't be done that way. That's, I know better. I know this, I know that. Yeah, you might have 40 years experience, but it doesn't mean you're doing it right. As someone that grew up as a mechanic and saw, lots and lots of people that had that master ASC certification and still watching them screw shit up left and right, even though there's the young kid in the corner who just came out of automotive school, or maybe just came up from Quick Lube, trying their hardest to make sure they're doing everything right and having very few issues. My biggest thing is I think the generation of younger kids have kind of been spoiled by the cars that are produced now, because you can go out and buy 500, 600, 700 horsepower cars on the norm. I mean, you can get F-150s from the dealership with a factory supercharger 2 and 4-wheel drive that'll be crazy on the street. I think a lot of them are just forgot that it all started with push rod motors. It all started with carburetors. I mean, you're seeing LSs with carburetors that sound like F1 cars. So I mean, geez, like don't forget where it all started from, I guess is what I'm saying, and don't take your bad experiences as the only way that things can be. I mean, I've been part of the automotive world and dealership work, private shop work, custom shop work, and now I do my own stuff with my dad, doing hot rods and learning from him the old school ways. And I mean, I very seldom have any problems that I don't know why it happened, or that I didn't create myself because I tried to either do a shortcut or I just I didn't know, I didn't ask. So just because it's old or just because it's not something that's not the new and easy doesn't mean you can't still do crazy stuff with it. It doesn't mean you can't drive a small block for fucking across country. Just you can't have a big monster powered motor. And well, I guess you could. You could have a big monster powered car and still drive it across the country. You just have to, be expecting to have a problem. So, I think there's way too many years of first gen small blocks. Chevy 350s, 305s, 307s, 327s, and a lot of the Dodge and Ford stuff that drove for 50 plus 60 plus years before fuel injection happened. So all this stuff's possible. I go on big rants and I get off topic and I go everywhere, but I just see all the stuff and I feel like people are just slowly forgetting with all the new technology that what can be done. Technology follows everything. It makes new motors badass, and it can make old motors do stuff they never were able to do before because we have the technology and the machines to do it. So yeah, I mean, if there's something you've seen that or read that's really gotten on your nerves, throw it on here, man. I mean, you ain't gonna hurt my feelings telling me I'm wrong or I'm an idiot. I don't really care. I mean, I drive a 1978 Malibu with a small Bach in it, and 355 cubic inches with a dual quad, and I've swapped it to a manual 4-speed. So I mean, shit, I hate myself apparently because I like more than one carburetor. But yeah, keep being car people. Don't forget the past just because the new is so easy.